Markely.
I think they're tearing it down.
They say that every year.
Oh, really? So it's not going to happen?
I don't believe it.
Yeah. Did you like Markely?
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
It was, especially the first 3 kind of weeks of school, that was the best 3 weeks I ever had.
I went through a lot my freshman year, welcome weekish time, because we just played volleyball outside. But
it's just, it does live up to its reputation of being the social dorm, because no one wants to be in their rooms because they're so shit. It's I think it was 9 by 11 feet for 2 people, and my roommate and I we tried all the bed configuration, and there's still no space to do anything other than basically sleep in there.
Yeah, I got so lucky because I was in Mojo 5th floor, but my room was right next to the elevator, so I had a little bit extra space. So
it's so close.
My friends in Markely, I go to the rooms, I'm like, damn, this sucks.
It's okay, dude. You only have to do it once, and then it's sophomore year. The house I lived in was it was disgusting.
Where was it at?
It was on Elm Street.
Okay, that's south, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, kind of close to Markely, on the other side of the cemetery, southeast side of campus.
Yeah, that's a good spot. My friend's right over there, Xander you just met. He's is that the one where you turn left on Getty's in the first right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's right there.
Yeah.
What house do you live at?
The
He's on
red
Wilmont
one.
Court.
Red one on the corner.
Wilmont Court?
No.
Okay, he's on
503 Elm.
Okay, he's 1301 Wilmont, which is the other one on the corner.
Yeah, there's those 3 streets.
Right where Elmont and Elm and Wilmont are right at that corner. So
it's a nice little spot. You're right next to Southview.
Yeah, and getting to Mojo is so quick if you
you
want
have
to eat.
you have everything you need. I stopped going to the dining hall after my freshman year.
Oh, you did?
I
live in there, bro.
I'm just so fucking lazy about getting food.
So you just cook, or do you?
Cook.
So you
I
just buy?
Take out and DoorDash.
Damn, every day.
Low key, bro. These days, my quality of life is I just pretty much work all day, and then spend my money on conveniences, which is we don't pay ourselves shit, and we're full time. So the only things I can really afford are rent and the convenience of having my food delivered to me, and then I just spend the rest of my time locked in on my laptop. It's not healthy. We need, and part of it is the kind of mental patterns that you build up as a college student. College was not easy for me. There was a lot of change that happened in 4 years. I felt like I didn't know what the hell I was doing for most of it. And you kind of get baked into the routine, at least for me, of I'm invincible. I'm 19, 20 years old, so I'm just not gonna care about myself that much. And I feel even though now I'm my own boss and no one's telling me what to do, I still do not do some of the basic prerequisites for self-care that would make me.
Don't tell me you don't shower.
No, this is actually I shower probably more than I should, but there was a period of time where I didn't have any body soap in my shower, and the next day I didn't have body soap for 2 days, whatever. This is another thing, I don't think you need to shower every day.
Really?
No, I don't think.
Why is that?
It has to do.
You know skincare more than anybody. So.
It has to do with your microbiome and the germs that live on your body. But basically my co-founder came over to my apartment. He's dude, where the fuck's your body soap? And I'm I just don't have any right now. And he sends a message to Slack. He's all right, this just in. No one in the company knows when the last time Nathan washed his body was.
That's so funny.
But there's that. I should cook for myself. I should go for runs and lift weights every morning. I think I just need to be in a warmer place. I think environment is everything. I want to be detached from Ann Arbor and be in a different place for the 2 primary reasons of I need warmth, I need sun on my body every day, and I also want to be surrounded by people who are way more successful founders, who's just SF is cool. I just don't think they're necessarily my market or my type of founder, because that's all tech and SaaS. Every product in the universe, it boils down to does this product get you paid or does this product get you laid? This is a VC told this to me, and he's we invest in these 2 types of products. Most SaaS gets you paid in some form. It speeds up the efficiency of your business, or whatever. It's even AI can make you more efficient. We're selling vanity products. My product is I'm going to take you on a journey to look more beautiful and be more healthy, and the people who are focused on that outcome are living in LA or living in New York, a place where like there's more concentrated vanity. And so I think as much as I don't identify with like the type of person who like lives in LA, I think it makes sense from like a business perspective to go there. And then New York feels like dessert, but I feel like...
Do you like New York?
I do like New York. I have family there.
Sick.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, that's exciting. Do you want to move soon, you think, or what's the plan?
Yeah. It depends on... it depends on like some financial realities and also like if we like it. So on the 8th, so like less than 2 weeks from now, we're going to go to LA for a month. We got an Airbnb. Sick. We know some people are going to take us around. We're going to get some stuff done. Like we're doing some business like overseas, like in Australia, and like being next to the port where like goods come in from China and then we can sort them and ship them out saves us like overland shipping costs. So like
even if they have to pay for like staying there and everything, or
yeah, I mean I'm also like this month like we're cutting our salaries to like go and afford like an Airbnb.
Interesting. That's cool, bro. So how about you walk me through Milieu? I know we already talked about it a little bit, but just for the podcast, we want to talk about what do you guys do, where does this come from, what's the goal, where will we be 10 years from now?
Yeah. So Milieu.
Did I pronounce it wrong?
Everyone pronounces it wrong.
Does that piss you off?
No, it doesn't. It makes me like feel like I made a mistake with the name, if anything, but it's pronounced Milieu.
Milieu.
We're gonna brand it through like our product, which is called Microbiome, which is like a little easier to remember.
That's smart, yeah.
But Milieu is kind of like the parent company, and the basic premise of Milieu is we test your skin with an at-home swab, and then we use the unique results of your test to craft a unique solution for your skin. That is like the core idea of it. And the goods we sell currently are the custom skincare and the platform that, based on the test and the results, kind of like guides you and tells you what to do.
So do you buy both of them together as a package?
We're selling it as a bundle right now.
Okay.
All of this is sort of subject to change. The grand vision, the big idea here is there are a fuck ton of really strong ingredients and products in skincare, and there are a ton of people who have deep need, but there's no distribution layer between all the products and the users that like use a complex diagnostic device and like actually look at research to give each person exactly what they need and nothing more. And the waste is in the trial and error process that people go through when they're trying to find their skincare. Like there are a million, you go on Reddit like skincare addiction and you refresh your page and it's a ton of people who are like, you know, I have had cystic acne for 5 years and I've tried everything and I don't know what to do, and I'm sick of wasting my time and wasting my money. And so like fundamentally our thesis is like, we have an idea on how you should take care of your skin. It starts with taking a step back and investigating your microbiome, which I can talk more about later. And then from that point going forward, taking a very careful and sensitive approach to figuring out what you need and how we can taper you off products over time so that your skin actually heals at the end of it and you're not just stuck in this like endless loop of trying new shit that doesn't work. And the other thing there is like, your skin is always changing, and when you walk out of like Sephora with a product in your hand, your relationship with that company ends. You're going to use the product, it might work then, and then your skin gets better and you don't need that exact product anymore, and maybe you need something else, maybe you need something less. We want to build a system that adapts with you. It changes as your needs change, as the seasons change, as the circumstances of your life change, so that like you never have to guess again. That's kind of the idea.
That's cool. I mean, at that point, you probably have to aggregate a lot more data than just your microbiome, right? So is that like your next layer, like next step, or are you guys already doing that, or?
Yeah, the inputs. So like, I give this analogy later. The inputs are like the swab, a face scan. It's like a high definition image of your skin on your face, and a quiz that goes after 73 factors. It's like your subjective, like, what do I think about my skin? It's like the products you use, like whether you live with pets, your diet, and a few other things like your preferences and allergies. and then your real-time environmental data. So based on like your live location, the air quality, the water hardness, the UV, like things like that. So essentially the inputs there are 4 kind of categories of inputs that matter for your skin health. They're internal and external. Internal is like your biochemistry, what's under and inside your body, underneath your skin, your biochemistry, your genetics. External is like all the circumstances of your environment that are hitting the outer layer, which is like pollutants, UV, your skincare itself. And then the other 2 dimensions are your microbiome and time. So with your microbiome, it's the living organisms that have evolved to protect you and kind of are like their own organ. And then just like the process, time itself, your cells age. There's homeostatic events that are occurring, and they could be occurring faster or slower. But if you can track all those 4 things in real time, you can build a really strong predictive engine for like what your skin is going to look like in the future and what it's going to need. And so, yeah, essentially at the end of the day, we're just like a data aggregation machine. And we want to I want to help people avoid like the problems that I had. And also just like, I think we're positioned to build something that the world has never seen because we are empowered by like new technology and like super cheap gene sequencing.
Yeah, that's really cool, man. I mean, there's so many things that are affecting it, and I guess there's so much data you're collecting. I'm curious like how you're using all the data to generate the insights. So I know we talked a little bit before, like you have like your heuristics that are backed up by real research that are hard coded in, then you have the LLM layers. So do you want to walk me through like the steps and like how your thing works? Like, okay, we get all this data, we collect it up front. What does it pass through like along the way, and actually what is the outcome that a user sees? So like what is that whole process? What have you built, I guess, to process and understand that data?
So step 1 is, which is sort of already done, is use LLMs to look at all like the entirety of humanity's knowledge about like what certain data points implicate. So like let's just start small. Like we know that if you smoke, you're more likely to have cancer. That's like a document. We call that like a flag or like a heuristic. It's like a fact that is known to be true based on like pre-existing research. So what we did is for all the data points we collect, like the microbes from the test, like quantified outputs from the scan, or like, dietary things, like basically just a super long list of rules about like what is known about each of those data points. The scan, by the way it works is it's trained on like 90,000 clinical images that were labeled by dermatologists. So when you scan your face, it pretty much quantifies. There are 24 things it quantifies.
Did you build that yourself, or did you have a tool you used?
We licensed it and like sort of tailored it to our use case.
Cool. What tool is that? Are you allowed to say? You don't have to say.
I'm not gonna.
I don't know what you're allowed.
I'm not gonna dox us.
Yeah.
We got a good deal from some. It's an enterprise tool that's used by like a lot of companies. Cool. But so essentially, we build like someone's profile, and it's just a list of these like facts about them. And this list, by the way, it changes every day. Your profile changes every day. The whole system is dynamic. But let's just like keep it simple. Talk about at a single moment in time, we have like your digital twin. It's a pretty good representation of who you are. The next layer is the ingredient layer. And we basically have a super long list of ingredients and all their known effects based on existing literature. And we match ingredients to profiles by like a system of prioritization. So one thing about you could, promote the score of an ingredient while simultaneously like decreasing the score of another ingredient. And so we take like your profile, we have a model that takes our long list of ingredients and basically like sorts them into like, this makes the most sense, these concentrations make the most sense, whatever. And then the third layer is like the application layer, the output layer, which is the main product. It's skincare products. So like based on the prioritized list of ingredients, it's like you match it to the right like types of products, and you can use whatever product database you want. So like our free product is like, we have 30,000 skincare products that get rank ordered. So you can see from 30,000 skincare products based on like our analysis of all these factors, here are the ones that make the most sense. it's modular. So like if we wanted to do a project for a dermatologist and only sell their like 30 projects, or sorry, their 30 products, we could take their list and just like stick it in there, and then the output would just be like from that list of products. And then the final layer is we call it like the rationalization layer, and it's literally an LLM that kind of summarizes everything that just happened and can explain it to a consumer or a provider in a simple way. And so like essentially what you get looking down is you take in all these inputs, it matches you to the right stuff, and then you have a very simple written explanation of like what the hell to do. And it changes every day. So like certain little things about your profile, if the weather changes, if you retest your microbiome, if you take another scan, will like slightly tweak the outputs. And it can be, it can change the products that it recommends. It can change like the instructions on how you should use your product. Like for example, like, okay, stop using your moisturizer twice a day, only use it once a day. Or today, don't use it at all since it's going to be really humid. And like, I just want people to basically have access to this like digital model of themselves that is like predictive in nature and can be like, for the next 3 months, like here's like the best thing that you should do for your skin. But obviously like, computers aren't going to solve all these problems. It has to start with like a base set of principles and beliefs that like you as an individual or you as a company has, and ours are all centered around the microbiome, which I haven't even talked about yet. But hopefully that covers like how the data flows through the system. Makes sense.
Definitely really cool.
Yeah.
It's really cool what you guys have built. So yeah, I'm curious about like, you studied microbiology. What did you study here at Michigan?
Molecular and cell
biology, right? So early on, you started working this like your junior year of college.
Sophomore.
So were you always interested in startups at the time, early on? How did you get involved with this idea, and then like when did you shift and go all in that like this is what I want to do? What was your life path before?
Milieu. So. Trying to think about how to start this. I mean, so when I was super young, when I was 8, I had a flesh-eating bacteria disease in my arm. I don't know how well it's going to show up on camera, but like I have this like long scar that goes up my whole arm. And how that happened is completely randomly in the middle of the night, I just like woke up and like had just like a ton of pain in my arm. I couldn't move it. Like the rest of my body was kind of like deteriorating. Went to the hospital, went into 14 hours of surgery. This like super improbable series of events that luckily led me to like survive it, right? Which is not common. And the way you treat it is with surgery and then just a bunch of antibiotics, because it was like this bacteria inside me like eating my flesh. It's super gnarly. So I went on antibiotics for like 5 months after, and just like completely sterilized my body of any bacteria, good or bad, that was living in it. And then for the next 2 years, I didn't know this at the time, but like my microbiome was super out of balance. My gut microbiome, my skin microbiome. So anytime I introduced something new into my body, it reacted unpredictably, and that just like sucked. And it manifested as acne. I've had chronic acne and eczema my entire life. Eczema on my body and acne on my face. It sucks. Acne sucks. Fast forward a little bit. I've always been like conscious of and interested by like how the body interacts with the germs around it, but I was never like a mad scientist about it. Like through high school, I wanted to study international relations and like policy. That's just what I got into in high school. Also, my science teachers told me I was bad at science. And I didn't do as well in the STEM courses. Like I failed calc. My brain doesn't like, it doesn't work that way. And so when I got to college, I was like, I'm going to study like international relations. And then I started taking those classes and I was like, this sucks. I'm really not interested in this. I don't want a career in this.
Why was that? What did you feel at the time?
I just felt like I was surrounded by a bunch of people who like didn't know, including myself, like thought that their opinions like were super important. And at this time also campus was like pretty politically charged, and I felt like the people that I was surrounding myself with didn't want to talk about the same things I wanted to talk about and didn't feel the same way about themselves as like I did. I mean, I'm not bashing it as like a discipline to study. It just really wasn't for me. And so I was like, okay, what am I gonna? I'm giving you like the super long version.
I want to hear it. Let's do it.
Because it ties back to my infection.
Yeah.
But so then like my sophomore year, I was like, I really like nature. Like I my whole life, I grew up in like rural Massachusetts. I went on hikes, I went canoeing, I went to camp for 10 years. I loved that stuff, and I love nature. And so I was like, I want to maybe go into like sustainability. And so I took the first like bio class, which was ecology, and I really liked it. I liked learning about kind of like population dynamics and stuff. And then I took the second course in that series, which is the molecular like intro, and I learned about genetics and like microbial genetics, and something like clicked in my brain in that class. And I think it was when I was taught essentially that we can manipulate organisms and single cells on the genetic level to basically do predictable behaviors. Like something about that, just I started geeking out over it, and I was like, I want to like learn more about this. So then I emailed like every professor I could find, and I was like, can I work in your like lab? I want to like play around with the pipettes and like see how you guys actually do this. One of them responded to me, interviewed me, and then I started working in his lab. And that was like the coolest shit ever. I liked being on my feet. I liked walking around. I liked feeling like I was almost like out of place in a way, doing stuff that like I didn't even know humans could do 2 years ago. And so I sort of like leaned into that like area of study, like, you know, genetics, biochem. We were studying how a process called autophagy works, which is like cellular recycling, but we were studying it in yeast. And the cool thing was like any of the genetic findings in yeast are likely also true in humans, because the fundamental like biology evolved so long ago that like it's a commonality that like humans and yeast have. So crazy. So okay, so how the hell? Okay, so so I like leaned into this. I thought maybe I would like be a pre-med, because it's either like you work for a biotech company, you work in a lab, or you become a doctor. My dad's a doctor. It's a good career path. So I was kind of like passively thinking, oh, maybe that's where I'll take it. And then my junior year, I was approached by this kid named Saad Umar. He's like a year younger than me and Ross, and he was like, I'm starting this club called the Michigan Healthcare Business Club, and there's an innovation sector, and I want you to like take it over. I want you to like build this. And at my time, at that time, I was like, okay, innovation means like you're working in a lab, like you're doing like cellular biology research, you're innovating. And so I like kind of took that club over. There were like 10 of us, and we spent the semester like brainstorming, like just like random like scientific ideas that like we could commercialize it. The club wasn't doing well, and so that like January, like midway through my junior year, I was like, okay, we need like a project to work on. We need like a thing to do. And so one day this is a completely random. I was like, okay, dermatologists try and give me antibiotics for my acne all the time, but I don't take it because I don't want the same thing to happen to me that happened to me when I was like 9 years old, where I wipe out my whole microbiome. So what about instead of doing that to treat your acne, instead of trying to kill all the bacteria on your face, we test your face, figure out what good bacteria you need more of, and then put those bacteria in the skincare bottles and put that on your face. Yeah. So that was just like a random idea I had.
Is that like not commonly done at all?
It's commonly done.
I'm curious. I have no idea.
Probiotics. Okay. Like probiotic skincare is a thing, but it's not precise. Like it's not like everyone's microbiome is unique, and everyone has like unique deficiencies, and there's no like system out there that would like do like a diagnostic into personalized solution. So it was like kind of out there, and
a lot of work on yourself to try to figure it out.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
So TLDR, like wrote that out as a grant, sent it to the ZLI, like the Entrepreneurship Institute at Michigan, and they gave me like $10,000.
Wow.
And we spent that semester like just thinking about the concept, and at the end of the semester spent like $6,000 on like a box of swabs, 20 people, swabbed all their faces, took it to the Michigan Microbiome Corps myself, like snipped the swabs off into test tubes, and was like, okay, sequence this. And then over the summer, like it was about that time I met my co-founder. over the summer we were just like talking about this idea. It's like, okay, can you personalize skincare based off of a microbiome test? Doing a ton of research about it. We were on calls like every day, like vibe coding little like algorithms and like reading research and like coming up with these hypotheses. And by the end of the summer, we just like had enough conviction to basically be like, fuck it, like, you know, we're these two college students, like, let's just like work on this idea on the side because it's cool. Let's build a brand out around it. Do you want me to keep going?
Yes.
Okay. Sorry, I'm trying to give you like the whole story so you get it all.
I want to hear it.
It's almost done.
I love hearing other people's stories because I'm always curious where things start and like how they become what they are. You know.
Yeah.
It's so different person to person.
I appreciate it. So at this point, it's like September of 24.
Okay.
I'm entering my senior year of college.
I'm entering freshman year.
Really?
Yeah.
That's crazy. Wow. Holy shit. Time flies. Ron's entering his junior year. Ron's my co-founder. And we just...
By the way, did you have... I know you're working on this project, but I guess junior, senior year, what was your career direction idea?
I was like, I'm going to be pre-med.
Okay. So were you applying to med schools at the time? No, just
I knew I would have taken a gap year.
Okay. Because you're so involved with this project, or
I didn't have conviction that I was going to take this full time until November of my senior year. But by September of my senior year, like I was on track to like do all the pre-med classes. I was like kind of like looking at the MCAT. Like I was confident that like I could have gotten into medical school if I wanted to. Like I did good research, had good internships. I just like don't like learning about shit that I'm not interested in. I get distracted really easily. I have really bad ADHD. And so like some of the bio, awesome. Love learning about cells and genetics and microbes. Mm-hmm. Orgo,
not fun.
Fine. Like physics, math, like I'm not gonna pay attention and I can't help it. I get so distracted, and I knew medical school was just going to be like another 4 years of like forcing information down my throat, and then another like 8 years of residency and training. And it's super admirable when people have the discipline to do that. It just kind of was never me, dude. It was never me. But anyways, like that fall, we like kind of came up with like the brand concept. Got into like a few more programs at Zelluri. And we really had to fight for it, dude. Like people did not like think our idea was good.
What were the things people kept telling you early on?
They're just like, this is like a CPG company.
What's that?
Consumer packaged goods.
Okay.
Like you don't see a lot of startups getting funded that like sell like toothpaste or skincare, or because like the industry is so saturated and the unit economics are shit. Mm-hmm. And it's hard to scale. And people were also like, you want to do this whole like complicated thing, you're going to have to develop a microbiome test platform, technology to analyze and display it like an app and a web app, and you want to make custom skincare? Are you out of your fucking minds? Like you think you guys are going to do this when you're in college? So people basically were like, you're not going to get funded, it's going to take way too long to get traction, and it's going to be impossible to build this product. Like people said that shit. And they still do. Like, and we haven't made it. Like, we don't have product market fit yet. But a common like thread throughout this whole story is like just like a lot. People always have something to say, and like you just have to have like a delusional amount of like self-belief, and like also you need to be naive, because like if I knew like the type of shit that I'm going through right now a year ago, like if I knew how hard it was gonna be, I don't know if I would have done it.
You don't think so? Like, would you rather have taken the pre-med path, like in reflection? No, right? But
fuck no.
But I guess in looking back, if you knew the problems, you feel like you might have made a different decision. It's because that's a hard one to think about. I don't know.
I just wanted to be like a company I would have really want to work for is Colossal Biosciences.
Okay, don't think I've heard of them.
They're de-extincting the mammoth.
Whoa.
They're just like a big biotech company. They've raised like I think $300 million on a $10 billion value. I might be getting those numbers wrong.
That's crazy.
Big company, and their whole thing is like, we're going to have an insane goal. Like their goal is like bring the mammoth back from extinction, and their play is like all the IP that we develop along the way will like turn into enterprise value and we'll get acquired.
Wow.
And it started by this guy, Ben Lamb, who's not even a scientist. I mean, his co-founder is George Church, who's like one of them. That guy's like a monk, but
when did this project start?
Colossal?
Yeah.
I think they like really got going maybe like 2020.
What's the name of it? Like, is it just Colossal or is
Colossal
it
Biosciences.
Colossal Biosciences. It does sound familiar. I heard someone tell me about this.
Yeah. No, dude, it's
Cool.
insane.
I probably said that wrong.
Yeah, right there.
All right, Colossal Biosciences. Yeah.
Yeah, click on their site.
Where is it? This one?
Yeah.
That's so sick. De-extinction.
Yeah.
Extinction is a colossal problem facing the world. I'll be so sick if they pull it off. Do you know what their timeline is? Like what their...
I think they want the... They set goals. They're kind of like SpaceX in this way that they just like set a ridiculous goal. I think 2027 is what they're saying for the mammoth, but it's like...
That's next year, bro.
This company's an insane marketing company.
Yeah.
Wait, go back to their lander, scroll up, like to the hero. Look at this, go to our website.
Okay. Did you copy them?
Milieu Skin.
This one?
Yeah, Milieu Skincare revenue. That's the one.
Yeah.
We can talk about that. Look at their site and look at our site.
Yeah, that's so sick. Did you cursor the site up or what?
My engineer did that.
Okay.
It's just a lander right now.
I like it. Yeah.
We're working on some other shit. But anyways,
yeah.
I wanted to work for a company that just had like this insane goal. Like doing next level shit with like...
So they're just relying
tools.
on funding right now, right? They don't have any revenue? Or are they
No,
selling
I think they have revenue.
Okay. What are they selling or...
I do not know. They might be licensing their IP. Like they do really cool stem cell stuff.
That's
I have
sick, bro.
No idea how they're making their money.
What a cool company, man.
So cool. So like if I didn't, I probably would have worked for a company like that. But okay, back to the... So now it's September. We've raised no money. We've raised like $15,000 off the grants. We're just working on it, you know. And then November rolls around, and we're pitching at V1 demo day. V1 demo.
V1?
What?
You're in V1?
I was not in V1, but one of our OG engineers was like one of the founders of V1.
Okay, sick.
Dave Kunjadia, he's working at Meta
I know.
now. Yeah,
That's
really
the one over the phone once.
Yeah, really cracked, dude. Really
He's
smart.
at Meta, right?
He's at Meta.
Yeah.
He was way too cracked for like the stage at which we were at in the company. Like we didn't even have like the problem. We were just like, dude, we just need a website, like, and like some internal tooling, and like it was like, so yeah, we pitched there and we won the demo day, and then in the audience was this guy named Hank Couture who founded this thing called Leap Year. He was like VP Marketplace, US Marketplace, DoorDash.
Oh.
Like he was involved in some like, and he was also the CEO of Fanatics, and he started this like micro fund. He goes around the country and funds like college kids, like pre-idea, and it's called Leap Year. And the whole idea is like take a bet on yourself for a year. Here's $40,000. I think they're doing $30,000 now at like a $2 million valuation.
Wow.
And after the demo day, everyone like went up to him and they were like trying to pitch their ideas, and I was like, and Ron and I just were like, we're gonna wait until everyone's gone, and we waited there for like 3 hours until everyone else was gone, just him, and we're like, listen, bro, sit down, like let me tell you a story. And after like a 2-hour conversation, we
2 hours, wow.
We talked to him for such a long time. He was like, all right guys, I already filled my batch, but like if you guys want this, like I'll fund you. And like we were like trying to hold it in, but like we were so excited because that was like our first real
funding
money.
Yeah.
And like Ron and I, like we both are like super privileged, but like I've never touched like $40,000 to just like do some shit. I've never done that before, and so it felt crazy. And Hank, ever since then, has been like our best investor by far in terms of just like the amount of like catch up we do and like the advice he gives us. Like he's coached me on everything like since then. So I love that dude. But anyways, so we took that money, we rented a lab, And then I spent the next 4 months, this is a complete waste of my time, but I spent it on lab equipment. And I was like, I'm going to develop the technology to do these skin microbiome tests for really cheap myself. Got like 40% of the way there, and then realized like, okay, even if I do figure this out, we're not going to be able to scale this. And so I kind of like made that mistake. We decided it would be better like outsource it to test our MVP. And then February rolls around, raised some money from angels. Like I just had people in my network who I've been talking to about this idea for the past year now, who are excited about it. These are like doctors, like angel, like ex-CEOs, like some of them kind of help us out on our board now. We raised like $250K. And by that point I was like, okay, I have enough to, once I graduate in May, like take this full time and like keep working on this idea. So we did. We rented a little office in the same building our lab was. Me, Ron, and Arav, who's like our third guy. He's a current junior chemical engineer. We would just go to that office every single day and just like work our butts off. In April, we had this like beta launch event where we developed, like we had like the test kit technology down. So we developed, it's literally like in a tube, just like the swab apparatus with a return mailer. And like we had this little app where you could like put a little quiz in to give us some metadata and a face scan. And we ran some like meta ads. We put like $50 behind ads, and like 300 students showed up to this event.
Wow.
So we tested a bunch of people's faces.
So you ran meta ads, you said?
We ran like, yeah.
Okay. Was that really effective?
It was then, but I've been burned by meta ads like in the past like month. But I'll speak more to that.
Yeah.
So we had all these like test results, and I was like, I need to display these. I don't want to just tell these like 150 people like you have 59% Cutibacterium acnes on your face, right? So I vibe coded the first version of like this super biome platform.
This was, you were still in college at the time?
No, this is like just after. This was like so in
that
June.
Summer.
Yeah.
Okay, so you graduated 2025.
Yeah.
Okay, sick.
Yeah. And we vibe coded the first version of the super biome platform. I sent an email to everyone. I'm like, this is ready. Go and log in. And 90% of people were like, oh, this is cool, but like, you know, what the fuck do I do with this information? Mm-hmm. Like, basically, that was our first like market feedback on these people we gave the thing to for free. And at that point, we didn't have any of the skincare. We were kind of like fumbling around. We're like, should we try to formulate our own skincare, or should we like do this other thing? But you know, we were really just focused on this problem of like, how do we use this microbiome data to like inform people to make better decisions regarding their skin health. And then just on one fateful day in July, after like 2.5 months of just sitting in an office vibe coding for 2.5 months, we got a intro to Boost VC, this guy named Gus. We gave him the pitch, thought he was disinterested, and then he introduced us to the partner, Adam. And we had this meeting with this guy. He was 30 minutes late to a 15-minute call, but we really wanted to talk to him. And so we like sat on that call, and he finally hops on, and we're like kind of giving him our like technical pitch. And he's like, yeah, okay, I hear a bunch of these. So like, why are you guys doing this? And we told him like our personal stories. Like I told him about like how I went through my infection and had antibiotics and like want to build a system. And Ron had really chronic eczema, grew up like shipping jewelry wholesale with his mom. And he's like, we can scale this personalized skincare thing to like $100 billion. And this dude's eyes lit up, and he was just like, all right, guys, like how's like $500,000 sound? And I was like scared, dude. Like my stomach, like my pit, I was like, are you dead ass? Like, and then Ron starts negotiating him on the call about the valuation. Cause he threw out like a $4.5 million valuation, and Ron's like, oh, like, I think we should do 5. I'm like, you know, Adam, we'll take it, man. Like, we're so excited. Like, and then we like got off the call, and like, we just started like fucking jumping around the office. Bro. We're like, oh my God. Like, July? This is July.
What date?
July 15th, okay, 2025.
You'll always remember that day.
I will, dude. That was like, it took me a while to process it. That's like a life-changing amount of like money for, you know, what we were doing. I just felt like so grateful.
21-year-old or something, huh?
I was 22.
Yeah. Crazy.
I mean, we still haven't like 10x'd it for him yet, so I'm not like I'm kind of afraid of like losing the opportunity now. But
does that stress you out?
Huh?
Does it stress you out?
Oh my God, yeah, like a lot.
Yeah.
Like,
do you think it's more stressful now, or is it more stressful like early?
Now.
That's what I imagine. But it always, I feel like we were talking about this before. Money seems like power. Money seems like as soon as I get that, we're good. But I feel like that's when like all the problems or stress starts, right?
Well, because now we have now we're expected to, like, I will say, like, Boost VC is very kind as far as like VCs go. Like, they're not breathing down our neck. They did not demand to have like a board seat on our company. They don't control a like majority stake of our company. This is a firm that like invests in shit like growing coffee farms on the moon. They're like deep tech, sci-fi, like making sci-fi realities, like their thing.
That's cool.
It's so cool. So, and they're really nice, but like, yeah, dude, now I have this pressure to like, I mean, I don't even have the pressure yet because it's like we're not even scaling. Like it's so fun to be like pre-revenue and like pre-product because you're just like a glowing ball of potential. And then the second you like put your products out on the market, you get slapped in the face, and it's like, how much revenue do you have? And it's never enough. And like, I need to, at this point, I need to go out, get product market fit in whatever area that is, which could be, you know, one of several things at this point in time, and then go back to the investors and be like, here's how I'm going to turn this into $1 billion company. Give me $3 million right now and I'll start executing on the plan tomorrow. That's the pressure. And then the more money you take on, the more like you're on a treadmill, because all these VCs want to exit. So you lose control over your company, and like the valuation you raise at, you now have an expectation to, your two options aren't like, if you raise at a $50 million valuation, like the VC doesn't want you to sell for 40. They want you to sell for 500 or die trying, you know? So like, that's kind of what happens.
What a game.
It's crazy, dude.
Yeah, it's insane. So do you think that as you look back, like we talked a little bit about like where you kind of fit in terms of like, you know, what you find, what you're passionate about, you know, what kind of subjects you were able to, you know, felt right for you early on. Like, do you feel like, I feel like working on startups comes with a lot of great things. You know, you're your own boss, you have your own freedom, you can live your own direction, but it also comes with all this stress. Do you feel like you're doing something that fits you? Like, is this where you thrive? Or in reflection, you know, where do you see yourself in your ideal world? Like, you know, is this where you want to be, ideally?
Sometimes I think about what would happen if I, like, exited and had, like, you know, money. Like, I woke up one day, I was, like, taking a shower, and, like, I'm like, I don't have this thing to work on anymore, but I just have money. Like, I feel like I would get depressed because I just, like the process. Like, I like waking up and feeling like there's, like, one thing I have to do today, and it's, like, move the fucking needle.
Yeah.
Like, that, and it's like a little bit self-destructive, but I think no matter what happens with this company, I'm going to do it again, and then I'm going to do it again, and I'm going to do it again. And like, I kick myself for mistakes I've made with this company like every day, but I also remind myself that like you only have to be a first-time founder once, and like I'm excited for the opportunity to be a second-time founder because I won't make all those mistakes, and like I'll have like more like insight and knowledge. And dude, like I just fucking love it. I love being able to like, I just have like a feeling about like the world. Like I want to like build my little beautiful thing that like I believe in and like show it to as many people as possible. It feels like creating like art or something. Yeah. And like that's like so like that's so fulfilling to me. And like I just feel so like lucky. I don't think there's any other point in like human history where like a kid my age could like have the opportunity to like manifest a beautiful thing that is probably gonna fail, like just to have the opportunity to try and create a magic wand, and like if I fail, like it's okay. Like I would never, like if I fail there are reasons that would be acceptable for me to fail, and there are reasons that like wouldn't be acceptable for me to fail that I would like regret a lot. But if I fail and it's for reasons that were out of my control, like that's cool. Like, it's not like I have a wife and kids that, like, if I fail and, like, lose all my money, that, like, I'm going to fuck them over. Like, it's a very, like, beautiful thing, and, like, I feel like I'm in the right place right now. And it's so consuming that I'm actually sacrificing, like, things that I should be doing to, like, make my own life longer. But it's, like, it's low-key, like, I have an addictive personality and I have ADHD, and I'm also like super duper confident that like we can make this into a huge thing, and like chasing that is like addicting. I can't even lie.
Yeah, because I know one thing I've noticed all day today is like your work ethic is really insane, and you do sacrifice a lot for your work. It looks like you just work all day, every day, as you said. And I wonder if that was born maybe post pressure, like maybe post July, after you have the funding and people believe in you, but you also have to achieve this big goal. Is that when that kind of drive was unlocked in you, or do you see like yourself always being this way when you started this back in 2024, when you're in high school or college?
When you were in high school, like, did you feel like a lot of pressure to like do well in class, like exceed beyond your peers, that you could get into a good school and like have a good career?
Yeah, my story is a bit unique because I went to a boarding school, and the boarding school was very competitive, so it was highly ranked. So I was definitely always around people that were much smarter than me. So I think that's what drove me. There was always that pressure that everyone's trying to get to an Ivy or top school at my school.
Where'd you go?
I went to Petty. You know Petty?
The Petty school?
Yeah.
Yeah, I do.
What do you know about Petty?
I mean, we never played. Are you guys? Is that NESCAC?
No, it's a high school.
Sorry, NEPSAC. My fault.
A NEPSAC. What's that?
NEPSAC is like the.
It's a series of schools.
Yeah, kind of.
We're Maple League.
Maple League.
Yeah, the Mid-Atlantic Prep League. It's
what are some other preps? Blair. Yeah.
Probably heard of Blair, like Blair, Lawrenceville, Hill.
Lawrenceville.
Yeah.
I went to Williston.
Okay.
Which is a boarding school, but I was one of the day students.
Yeah. Where's that's in Massachusetts as well? Okay.
So
the East Coast thing.
I get it. Like.
Yeah. I mean, you probably had this too, but like kids from like Asia, China, Korea coming to your school, everyone's cracked. I feel so behind, and I've always been competitive too. So I think because of that, my work ethic's always kind of been good, and the pressure's always kind of drove me. But I do kind of feel though, like if I don't care about something, you can't like force me to do it. But if I care about something, I just go all in. So.
Would you say it's true that if you're good at something, you enjoy it more?
Yeah. Definitely.
And I think, yeah, that's so. I think that's where it comes from. And for me, like, Williston was a good school, but I was part of a small minority of day students, so I didn't have the like social adhesion that like most of my peers had.
What do you mean by that?
Like, I just didn't have like the fact that like 80% of the people in my grade like were boarding students and they like lived with each other, and the school was very small to begin with. There were like 20 day students who all lived like within a large radius, so I didn't have like, it wasn't like I could like on a Saturday night like go over and hang out at my friend's house. So like I felt like I was actually really lonely in high school, especially like when COVID happened my junior year. Like I felt super isolated.
Yeah.
And I always told myself like, I always like kind of thought of myself as like a smart kid in certain areas, and I was like, if I just like really lean into that and try really hard in school and like excel, then when I get to college, like all my dreams will come true, and like I'll have like lots of friends and I'll be super like happy, and like girls will like me, and like all these sort of things that like I didn't have, and so I leaned into that, and I kind of like inherently started putting this pressure on myself to like try as hard as I could, because I was saying before, like there are reasons that would be acceptable to fail and there are reasons that would be not acceptable. If L'Oreal sues me because I'm eating their lunch and it costs my company all my money, I'll be pissed, but I can't really avoid that if that's a market tactic they want to use, right? If I fail...
Wait, say that again? Laurel eating...
Like, I'm just saying, like...
Is that a... Sorry, I don't follow it.
eating my lunch. So, like in a market... Like, imagine there's a market for, like, selling skin microbiome test kits, whatever. Yeah. It won't be that, but for the sake of argument, like... And the market's a $10 billion market, and a big company has most of it.
Oh, L'Oreal, that's like the skincare.
Yeah, a disruptor comes in and starts eating their market. Have you heard of Function or Superpower, the blood testing companies?
Not really.
So there are these two like new blood testing companies, and they just like send you an at-home blood test, and then they have like a sexy like UI that's like, here are your biomarkers, here's your action plan. They like position around this like lifetime model thing. Essentially the same company. Function's old, they raised $300 million. Superpower's new, they raised $30 million. Started by this like super young Aussie guy, and they just position against function. They're like, the guy sits on the podcast, he's like, here's why so many of our members say they're switching from function, right? And that pissed off function, and a few weeks ago function sued Superpower.
Oh wow.
And it's just like, it's trademark infringement, like false advertising. I don't know if any of those claims are true necessarily, but I know that a company that's raised $30 million is going to have to devote a disproportionately large number of their resources to fight the lawsuit than a company that, sued them. So like, there are reasons that would be acceptable, but it goes back to, if the reason is I didn't work hard enough, I'm never going to fucking forgive myself for that.
Yeah.
I'm never going to fucking forgive myself for that. And so, and I felt that same way about getting into college, and I've always kind of like felt that way. The other thing is like, I'm just like I don't expect to live until I'm 8 years old. Because when I was 8 years old, I was laying on like my deathbed with like a cast like the size of my head, and like every day I would have like 40 residents walk in the room when they opened up my cast because they'd never seen flesh-eating bacteria in a child before, and I was on morphine, and like I realized pretty quick like my life is in danger, and like it took me like a few months to sort of process the fact that like something like that can just happen to you, like, or your mom, or knock on wood, someone in your life could die of cancer. Like, disasters can happen, and they've happened to me like more than once. And so like I know that like tomorrow something completely out of my control could like change my life. And so I think I just where was I going with this? Like,
the work ethic.
The only opportunity that I like know for sure that I have to really like throw myself at something is right now. And it's like there's no point in waiting.
Yeah.
Like, cause I could die tomorrow, or like the war, like we just killed fucking Khomeini. Like I could get drafted and be sent, like I could be a paratrooper going down into Baghdad tomorrow. Anything could happen, right? And so like, I mean, I don't even think work ethic is like the most important thing. I think it's like clarity over like how you're allocating like your time and your resources. And it's like, what keeps me up at night isn't like necessarily like running out of money. It's like, are we spending our time doing the right things? Because sometimes I can work really, really hard on something for a long time just to realize it's useless. And
that's what I'm worried about.
Yeah.
What do you think are for you right now are the right things, and I guess at a more high level scale?
Yeah. So I think we've worked harder in the past 2 months than we have in the entire like lifespan of the company, because we like,
that's great,
because we got fucking hit with a wave of reality about our product. So like from July, after we raised that money, through like December, we were just like working like pretty slow, to be honest. We were like, we called it, in retrospect, we were in fat panda mode. We were just sitting there like eating our bamboo, like overbuilding this product. Like I hired 2 engineers, I hired 2 designers, like we're burning a lot of cash. We're like, we're going to launch this product and it's going to be great. We weren't talking to customers. Like we were just like, we know what we're going to build. We're going to build the infrastructure around it. Then we launch at like the end of December. First 2 weeks of sales are great. Keep in mind, this is like 2 months ago. First 2 weeks of sales are great. We're like, fuck yeah, like we're on a rocket ship. And then it's like,
wow.
Because it's like we cashed in on like all of our waitlist people, and the people really like the product. But like we underestimated like the difficulty of putting the right message in front of the right people. And we didn't have a playbook for like, okay, we were going to target this demographic with this ad set, or like we didn't really have like a playbook for go to market, which is like such a rookie mistake. And we should have been thinking about this shit like a year ago and had like a very kind of like segmented go to market plan. And so like I based all of my financial assumptions off of like a relatively successful launch and like steady month over month growth. We didn't like categorically fail. I just realized that like in order to grow and also retain our existing customers, we have to have better infrastructure set up for like longitudinal communication and like capturing leads, because $180 product is not an impulse buy. So you can't expect like to just put an ad in front of someone and then have them impulse buy and like sustain your company off of that. It's like my customers are going to see my ads like 6 times before they go to our website, go through every page, consider things, and then like purchase it. And we were like not nurturing the middle of the funnel. So like basically like what I've realized in the past 2 months is like the middle of the funnel needs to be better, and our top of funnel, like the people I assumed we're gonna get all the microbiome believers. Everyone already knows the value of the test kit. That's why they're gonna want to buy it. Fucking no, they don't. All anyone wants is clear skin. Like our product is for the girl who's staring in the mirror and crying because she doesn't want to go to school because it hurts when she touches her face, and no amount of makeup is gonna fix that for her. She wants instant gratification in that moment. And when I tell you, oh, take the test, wait 3 months, and you get your skincare, use it this way, it's not as easy to market as we thought. And so basically what I did is like slash the burn, like get rid of the bloat, go into hungry lion mode where all we're doing is talking to customers. Like I spend a lot of my time on Reddit, on TikTok, on Instagram, just going and finding these random people, not influencers, random people, and being like, let me solve your problem for you. Like, let's get on a call. I will send you a test kit for free. And in doing that, you understand like the psychology behind like why they want to purchase, like who's purchasing. And at the same time, I'm nurturing all these like B2B relationships to see if like dermatologists or clinics see any value in sort of using our stack. And at this point, we're close to like cash flow positive because I like slashed the burn down so much, and I'm taking on these like contracts, and we have consumer sales, but I'm trying to make it so that our company can live forever because I want to have the time to solve this problem and not just be like, you know, we have 12 months, like no matter what the fuck we do, unless we raise more capital, that's not where I want to be at all.
Yeah. So I know we talked earlier about like all the potential people you could target, like I don't know, the 9-year-old who's, you know, has some condition or a lot of acne that just won't go away, or the athlete or the middle-aged woman. Like, I mean, I don't know what stage you are at this like realization and adjustment, but I guess what patterns are you realizing now? I don't know how much you want to reveal because I don't know if this is like
no, I'm comfortable. I mean, we can also talk about like less like company specific stuff,
but like what you learned about in general about finding this kind of information. Or
yeah, no, I think like our product works best for people with a specific type of skin issue, which is like mild inflammatory dysbiosis. This is like
what's that?
Mild acne, mild eczema, and generally like the person who like has the patience and appreciation to like use our system is between 29 and 45, and the majority of them are women. And these are people who just like have used, they're not going to fall for like a marketing trend. They like are discerning, they're distrustful because they've tried a bunch of stuff and it hasn't worked. And the reason that they would want our product is because it starts with a test. And centering the whole mission, like here's the fundamental insight, right? When we set up our Instagram, you look at our Instagram, you're like, this looks like another luxury skincare brand. We're not. We have something completely different. We're the only company in the world to test to go from swab to skin. Like our tagline now that we're centering around is swab your skin, solve your skincare. That doesn't exist. So everything has to like look different and be centered around like that hero image. And we're gonna capture people who appreciate that already. Yeah. It's like basically we need people who are already high intent for something different. We're not going to just get someone on like an impulse scroll who has acne. These are people who are already Googling facial skin test for acne.
Deep in a rabbit hole.
Or are on ChatGPT asking them about it. Like we're maxing out our AEO. I'm not going to beat L'Oreal on acne skincare as a keyword. This is not going to happen.
Yeah. Was that Oreo?
AEO.
What is that?
Answer engine optimization.
Is that a thing now?
Yeah, dude.
How do you optimize for that? You pay?
Use searchable.com.
I gotta look into this shit.
Plug in my boy. No, you just. I mean, the way we have it set up, I don't know if I want to reveal all my trade secrets. This is not a secret. Honestly, if anyone's watching this, like, you got to make sure that if an AI goes to your site, they know like what to say. So like we have /LLMs.txt and like our robot routing file, like make sure that the LLMs go there first. And it's like, here's everything our company is. Here's all of our keywords. Here's how you should talk about us. So like when people go to ChatGPT and they look up like, you know, best personalized microbiome skincare, it's like Milieu is number 1 and it does all this shit. Like, and what Searchable does, and my friend started this company and they're doing like insanely well right now, but you track prompts. So you are like, basically like you put in the prompts that you think or you figure out what prompts people are putting in for your target demo.
You can like see if an AI, like an LLM, is reading that.
Yes, and then it basically tracks all the prompts every day on like all the different LLMs, and it's like, here's how your company is like ranking, and it also can like write you blogs and stuff. It's cool, man. It's
Dude,
cool.
You cannot reveal on the podcast, bro. That's like.
All right, just redact that shit.
That's so sick. I'm definitely gonna be up all night reading about this now.
Yeah.
That's so sick.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. I mean, that's so exciting. I'm curious, like, more on your company.
Well,
like,
you want to talk about yours a
little
bit?
Yeah. I thought I told you a little bit before, but just an introduction. I mean, I've always said I'm interested in startups, but like, I can't say I've done much, like, high school, freshman year of college. I've always kind of been in the back of my mind, like, ooh, that sounds fun, but I don't know the first thing about startups. Mm-hmm. So, last summer when I met some people. They're like, my dad's sitting next to them on an airplane, and they're working on this project, and I got on the phone with them. I decided to join this startup, and I knew nothing about startups at the time, but I ended up working on this project for 6 months with some people from Berkeley, and just learned so much about how business works, how startups work, how funding works, how fundraising works, and how to build a product. I mean, I always knew how to code, but that's the first time I played around with Cursor, Around the same time as you, I guess, last summer was like when I hopped on Cursor, and that's like around the time it came out, I think. So it was so much fun playing around with that vibe coding, and I also learned like how to vibe code correctly, because I think I did it the wrong way for like the last 6 months, because my code was so dirty and sloppy and unorganized. So I'm a lot better with it now in terms of like how much I code myself, how much I vibe code, but that's a different topic. But I think over time I realized like a few lessons about startups for me personally. Like, I think I have nothing against like the people I was working with or the idea, but I just noticed like what kind of problems I want to work on, and I realized I wanted to build something that's difficult to build. I think that was the first thing that came to mind. And difficult to build could mean technically, but it could also mean like having building a strong moat that separates you from your competitors. And because I was interested in recruiting for working at startups this summer. So beginning of this year, I was connecting with like hundreds of people on LinkedIn who are like Michigan founders and scheduling calls with them. And I didn't end up getting any offers, but the pattern I kept noticing talking to founders was that most of these startups are not super flashy, they're not super well known, but they're super niche, solving a very clear problem in a clear industry, and they're building something very hard, but that's solving a problem for somebody. Like, one of them was building a solar plant, a software platform for solar plant developers to figure out where's the best land to build your solar plant. Like, who would have thought of that, right? And then somebody else is building like this new interactive tool for like controls engineers at like aerospace companies, because they still use Simulink from like 1950, But they're all just building these like niche little things that you need so much industry knowledge to build, and that's what got me excited, because I was just doing web dev. And I've been doing CS for a while. I want to build some like difficult to build infrastructure, mm-hmm. and like maybe like my old startup was like a social media sports platform, but I wanted to like go into a deep niche area with like a very clear ICP, and that's around the time when my friend Xander, who has type 1 diabetes, introduced me an idea he's been thinking about since last summer, about like a personalized AI engine for type 1 diabetics, and I immediately loved it. And then that weekend, I don't think I did any schoolwork, and I think I spent 10 hours that weekend on ChatGPT, just like asking it a million questions about type 1 problems, what products exist. And the more I read about it, the more I realized like how missing this layer is, how painful the problem is, like how willing to pay type 1 diabetics and their moms especially are. And I learned that, why companies like Dexcom, that are the current leading players who sell like CGMs and the app they currently have for people to internalize their data, they're so disincentivized from building something like this because of FDA, as we talked about before, and you need a CGM, so they're not going to go out of business even if we exist. So we saw such a great opportunity to build like an intelligence layer for type 1 diabetics specifically, because type 1 diabetics have much different needs than type 2 diabetics or people with other diseases. Because if you're a type 1 diabetic, you have to literally dose yourself with insulin before every meal, every day. And we had like about 15 calls over the last few weeks with type 1 diabetics, and we just keep seeing the same pattern. It's like some of these people spend hours every day thinking about what time they should eat, if they dose before their meals, how their exercise is going to affect them, and they're going to go low tonight, and A lot of these people wake up every single night because of their alarm buzzing, and they have to get up and drink juice. It's like so bad. And, you know, with all these AI tools available now, we thought it'd be so easy to build a really strong intelligence layer that could predict, you know, patterns for you, predict things before they happen, help you plan out your night before you go to bed. Notice patterns like how Monday morning meetings affect your glucose levels at like 6 p.m. on Tuesday, and just like see if we can like use machine learning to find all these patterns and give you insights. So that's what we've been doing for the last few weeks. I've pretty much stopped doing all schoolwork. I'm taking like 12 credits now. I dropped one of my classes, and I basically automate all my homework with AI.
Good, right?
And
you should.
yeah, just putting as much time into this startup as I can, like probably 30 hours a week at this point. And we're launching.
You said 30?
I think so, because I do about like 20 hours on my own, but then if I'm including all like my meetings with Xander and just talking to dining hall and like talking to customers, it's probably like 30. And then we're trying to launch by March 11th. Our first version. We have like 7 beta testers planned out.
Like a beta launch.
Yeah, beta launch. Yeah. I say launch because it sounds cooler.
Yeah, dude, I've launched like 4 times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm planning to work on this full time this summer and really like build something that can impact people by the end of summer. And worst case, just help Xander. So.
Dude, the moat is gonna be like these conversations and relationships that you build with these people that you're helping. Like, if you like build this for these people, and it works really well, one person going on camera and just like talking about their experience, like, it's a real problem, bro. So like, I guess my question is like, this is like the classic like chicken egg thing. You need the data to build the models. So like before you get the data, you need to kind of base it on like a set of rules, right? A set of heuristics. What are like what's the main thing that you're trying to like track or estimate or predict? Is it like glucose essentially? And then you're trying to like kind of help the person. It's like you said, like timing meals, like activities, like I guess like what are the inputs and like what are the outputs and like what things are they changing in their lives in the middle, if that makes sense.
So I think it helps to kind of step back maybe and like think about the day-to-day life of a type 1 diabetic a little bit more clear. So we all have glucose in our blood, and the problem with type 1 diabetics is that their body doesn't naturally produce insulin. So if you consume a lot of carbs or sugar, your blood sugar is going to spike really high. It can go up to like 200, 250. And if you're high for prolonged periods of time, you can feel it. You know, you probably get frustrated. You know, you probably feel like a lot more stressed out, and it's not a good feeling to have. And if you go too low in blood sugar, it can make you feel like very tired, brain fog. And you can also, if you're low for too long, you can die within 3 days. And if you're high for too long, you can die like 10, 20 years earlier. So it's like this weird balance, because if you're low, you have to immediately do something about it. If you're high, you just get stressed out because you're like, shit, I'm probably dying right now slowly. So when you're about to eat a meal, you have to think about it about 20, 30 minutes before, because you need to dose the right amount of insulin so that if you dose insulin 20, 30 minutes before, by the time you eat, it'll be ready to, break down the sugars and, ingest it into whatever cells, how that works. But if you forget to dose before your meal, your blood sugar is going to spike. You have to dose after to correct for it, but you're guessing how much you have to dose. Your app is like 15, 20 minutes delayed, so you dose a little bit, you check. If it was too much, you dose a little bit more. If it's too little, you dose a little bit more. If it's too much, holy shit, now your blood glucose is going very low, so I got to maybe eat some sugar, drink apple juice. Oh, but it's too high. So there's this constant correction you're doing, because your goal is to just stay in range. I just want to be at about 100 to 120, or like maybe 90 to 120 milligrams per deciliter in my blood. Second it gets over 180, it's really bad. Second it goes below 70, like I got to be really careful because I can die in 3 days. So it's this constant game you're playing. And a lot of people have this problem where if you eat too late, and you dose a little bit too late, you end up going low at night. So that's one of the biggest problems people have, is like 3 a.m. waking up in the middle of the night, their alarm keeps buzzing, wakes them up, their mom's up. If you're like a kid, you're checking your blood glucose, you have to go eat sugar, but you have to be awake for 20, 30 minutes to make sure it gets back to normal. If it's not, some people are up for hours every night still after having it for years, because it's so hard to regulate. And if you exercise, you have there's 2 different things that are giving you insulin. There's like you injecting it yourself, but there's also a constant amount of insulin that's being dosed throughout the day to kind of like I think it's called basal.
Through the wearable thing?
Yeah, through the wearable. So that's called like your bolus. And if you accidentally leave that on when you go to the gym or do a lot of exercise, you could dip really low. So it's like you have to turn that off. So you're thinking about this all day.
There's just like a million levers to either switch on or off, and it's like kind of like a seesaw with a big heavy ball on it, and you're like constantly trying to...
It's like you're driving a car, but the wheel responds 15 minutes late, and the road's winding. So you're constantly thinking ahead of time, and every time you forget, it's like, fuck. I'm ready as fuck for the evening.
So and there's no, like, there's no intelligence layer right now that, like, can see the road from a bird's eye view and preemptively steer the steering. It's like there's no Tesla for that shit.
Yeah, I think that if you open Dexcom, it just shows you your current number and your graph. And there's something called Dexcom Clarity, which tries to like just show you stats and stuff, but they're not very helpful and actionable. They might tell you things like, you know, your trends, times of day trends, but we're trying to make our advice very actionable. Like, you know, I think ingesting, we've noticed from like talking to customers is that everyone has a very different routine. You know, we talked to this, you know, lineman who has to like work up at the poles, electric poles, and, you know, he can't go down to like, you know, drink a bottle of juice every now and then. Like, he's there up all day. And then we talked to a bartender who has to go 8 hours fasted during her shifts. And, you know, she, you know, when you're there for so long and you go low, she said her customers can visually see on her face when she goes low. Sometimes she doesn't even feel it. And then they remind her, yo, you could have something, right? And I think we realize everyone has a different routine and schedule. And that's the problem when apps try to, like, standardize like insights, is that they're not... You can like analyze your glucose, but like everyone's data is so different based on their calendar, their routine. So we're trying to figure out, like you're asked about the inputs before, like if we can ingest your Google Calendar or ingest like whatever, you know, tool you use for your work or your Canvas calendar, your school schedule at the very minimum, or if you have an Apple Watch that gives us so much data about your health and your exercise routine, and you can even manually enter, but we want to reduce the work for the person, obviously. But I just think there's such an opportunity to integrate data sources and using the tools we already have, building our own infrastructure, using LLMs to give you personalized insights, but actually actionable insights. Like, you know, insights could be like what time you should dose, but it can also be like, we suggest going on a 10-minute walk, or we suggest moving this meal time over here, or, you know, we suggest that watch out between 4 and 7 p.m. because your levels are very volatile at that time. So, yeah. So it's kind of like your coach that like is there, like your buddy, and adding like a chatbot you can talk to in real time that like, yo, I'm about to go to like this birthday party tonight. I might drink alcohol. Alcohol affects it so much. So you're like, how do I plan for the evening? What can I do? It looks at all your data and says, hey, how about you try X, Y, Z? Plan ahead of time. We're trying to build like this, like almost like an endocrinologist in your pocket. So, yeah.
It's honestly pretty similar to what we're working on.
That's why I was so excited talking to you, because it's a lot of the same like heuristics and LLM integration.
Yeah.
With health data.
Yeah.
So
no, I mean, it's fascinating. I could see it playing out such that like it's a layer. It's like, I mean, is there an API from, was it Dexcom?
Yeah. So we solved that problem. It's pretty easy to connect to that.
Yeah.
There's one problem we currently have is, so there's an option on Dexcom to connect to Apple Health. So when you turn that on, it reads all your data into your Apple like profile, and we can connect using iOS to pull from that. So our app's an iPhone app. So we pull directly from Apple Health, so we get all your Dexcom data in the app. The problem is that Dexcom has a 3-hour delay. So like if I was on the app right now, I can only see my data from like 4:21 p.m. before, because it's 7:21 right now. Mm-hmm. And we can do a lot with that because we can still analyze your patterns.
Yeah.
But we can't give you real-time feedback.
But that's a hardware problem. That's like I'm assuming
it's not a hardware problem, because they can do it real time, but they don't allow us to use it because of like regulations with like how that data can be used.
Right.
So, but they partner with a lot of companies and allow them to. So that's kind of our goal right now, is to partner with Dexcom. Mm-hmm. They partner with about 90 like fitness kind of watch companies and things like that. So we're trying to partner with them. But again, if we're trying to do like dosing information and stuff, it gets hard with regulations. Yeah. So we're trying to build a product that doesn't give you too much like dosing and medical advice, but more like lifestyle advice.
Good.
And then eventually we want to get FDA approval, because that will give us a really high technical edge in terms of signal, and also it would open Dexcom's eyes a little bit, and then we can probably work together on this. But I think our goal would eventually be to partner with Dexcom. So
yeah, I think your path is like pilot the do not fuck around with the claims. Like, just be very much like lifestyle wellness focused with like honing in on your ICP. You make that like coach for your ICP, it works, you get traction, you get some people to download the app, then you go to VC, you pitch it. I don't know what the size of the market is, but I would imagine it's large and growing. And then once you have that, you go get HIPAA, you go get SOC 2, you go get FDA approval, and then you scale the shit out of it.
That's the plan, bro.
Yeah.
So we'll see what we can do. It is still very new. And I think one of the things I learned from our conversation today is like, I was kind of delaying LLM integration. I was trying to build something very simple for proof of concept, but I know integrating LLMs can make our insights so much better. And I was kind of delaying it because, again, like long term, I do want to build our own infrastructure that's better than LLMs, and in terms of the predictive infrastructure, but also because, again, like you said, it's very important these things are correct in what they suggest, and user trust is very important. So even if our insights are kind of simple at first, as long as they're consistent and trustworthy and help you a little bit, it's like a first stepping stone to like advancing. But
yes, you need to the layer between like the input and the output. Everyone wants to interact with an LLM. Like now it's like, you know, whatever little app I'm using, if they don't have like an LLM chatbot that I can like ask how to use it, it's like an inconvenience. And, like people are lazy. People want quick, easy. So like the output, like I feel like the human interaction layer should be an LLM, but everything underneath it, when you're dealing, like it has to be more or less hard-coded, predictable heuristics, and then you can have like a prediction layer on top of it, but that has to be like built out and done really thoughtfully. And then
you can't just throw it in there.
No, you can't just get an LLM.
It'll just give you shit.
it doesn't, like the underlying like technology is, it just repeats, it takes your verbal input or whatever, and it spits back out whatever it deems to be like the most likely like following sequence of words. It's not diagnostic. And it shouldn't be, you're not like leveraging the full like research power of the LLM. Like LLMs are super useful in building the initial system, because I'm like, you know, I can throw an LLM, we've built a model that like looks at 200,000 scientific papers in the niche, and I'm like, you know, is this true or false? Like, show me the evidence, and then we can gather all the literature, put it into a database,
build it yourself,
and build it ourselves. Like you know, if you wanted to, like a scientist who wanted to like create a review paper, I did one of these for like my senior thesis, and I didn't use AI at all because I wasn't like supposed to, but I had to go through like hundreds of papers, read them. Obviously I like used AI to source the papers, but you have to go through all the papers, read all the papers, kind of conclude what they mean, aggregate that information. Like we don't have to do that anymore. An LLM can like accumulate the information and help you build like an MVP really, really quickly, but you have to like verify that those findings are correct.
It's
like
not a long-term strategy.
No, it's not a long-term
just using
strategy.
it by itself.
No.
But again, like you said, there's such a smart way of using it if you use it properly. Like if it's not the product, but it's like this 1% of the product, but it's like just doing its job, and like everything around it kind of uses it properly. I think you can build so much cool shit now. So
you can also create a different type of company. Like and what I think, like what I mean is like our company, I think something special is like the benevolent nature of like what we're doing. I'm trying to get you off skincare. Like I'll sell you my test kit and my skincare, but the goal is like 4 months from now, all you need is like a moisturizer once every 2 days. Any skincare company in history like couldn't have followed that business model, because like in order to distribute skincare in the first place, they need to hire a certain number of people, and they need to have extremely long lifetime value of their customers, and they need to move as much volume as possible. But I'm like, we can operate this company with like 6 people, because so cool. All of us are 10x more efficient than we would have been 5 years ago. And I think like, just like, your company is AI powered if the 5 people running it use AI in all their daily workflows. Even if the tech stack or like the actual, it doesn't matter what the product is. Like if the product's a sponge, right? And the company is run by like 2 people, it's like, you know, it's an AI powered sponge company in the sense that they're using AI to find the people who want to buy the sponges.
Honestly, yeah.
You know?
Everything's AI powered at this point.
Yeah.
Just so cool. I'm so excited for how it's going to improve and like what we could be able to do, because we could just basically do everything before, but at such a bigger scale much quicker.
And so much less risk, too.
Yeah.
Like, you don't have to spend a bunch of money building it. You don't have to hire a big dev team. All you have to do is talk to customers and give it to them and see what they think.
Solve problems.
Yeah.
You know? And that's more fun, you know? It speeds you up. I think slowly we're getting superpowers almost, that you can pretty much do anything in the world.
What a blessing, too, to, like, do this. I was just talking to my friend, Jonah. Have you heard of Meet Your Class?
I have.
Yeah. So he's one of the founders of Meet Your
Class. He went
Class.
to Michigan, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think he's one of the guys I reached out to, but he didn't respond.
Yeah, we were in a program together. He's the boy. They're working on some like crazy shit right now. I just like caught up with him, and they're building a product that is gonna like take them to like a 9-figure exit. It's low key ridiculous. And the CEO Blake is like vibe coding the product. It's so sick. I won't spoil it for them because they're about to launch it. But no, basically, oh shit, I like forget where I was going with this. What were we talking about right before?
That's the superpowers of the modern world. And you can do everything at scale faster.
Yeah.
Take your time.
basically, like what we realized is like we're just like the rules of the game have changed. Like if their company, they have contracts every year. They make they have revenue and their expenses are less than their revenue. If you can create all we have to do here is create a company that is self-sustaining. Like, as in, you make a little money and you spend less, you can live forever. You can hack away on these problems forever. Here's the thing that I was going to say. We were just talking about how fucking awesome it is that we have the opportunity right now to spend 100% of our time and effort learning all this AI stuff. Because, you know, our friends who are like working in investment banking, they don't even use AI. They don't even believe in the potential of it because their bosses won't let them use it. It's not encouraged. Their only exposure.
Is it really not encouraged still?
No.
Tell me about it.
I mean, just like if you're working at like a big bank, like your bosses, there's an insane like strict hierarchy, and your bosses do not. They do not teach you how to use it. They do not encourage it. You're gonna do the banking the same way that your bosses did it. Like there's a lot of like resistance.
Do you think those companies will cease to exist?
Eventually, like on like a 20, 30 year timeline, they're either gonna have to adapt or they're gonna cease to exist, because like there will be some AI powered like quant company that like, and the model is gonna outperform like the average human being, and the economics are gonna work it out so that like a company that has those legacy practices will become obsolete. But like at this moment in time, to be a 22-year-old with complete freedom and lack of risk, building something yourself, of course you're going to use AI every day. And like in 10, 15 years, who is going to like have the best skill set? Is it the person who is like learning to do like investment banking the same way it's done for 15 years? Or is it like the people who are like, we're figuring out how all this shit works. We're figuring out we can build anything we want. As long as the company doesn't run out of money and you can sustain yourself, even if that's like on a small scale, you have like an unlimited capacity we can build a product in a day.
Yeah.
We can like, there's such a gap between like professionals out in the world and like what people our age are capable of. Like I have talked to people like derm clinics who offer microbiome focused stuff in other countries. And they're like, we want a white labeled skin microbiome test solution thing. And we've talked to these other companies that like can kind of do it for us, and they're going to charge us $150 a test kit plus a $15,000 setup fee. And I'm like, well, what's the setup fee getting you? They're like, a custom dashboard with like our branding on it. I'm like, all right, I'll be right back. Like, new branch of like our web app, you just like one cursor prompt, you just brand it. Yeah. I'm like, here's the website of this clinic. Go find all the services that they offer in their booking link, put it into this, and like I show them a screenshot. They're like, yeah, this is what we wanted. It's like a company's going to charge you $15,000 for that. Insane. Like, insane. Like I'm saying, the rules of the game have changed.
Slowly people are adapting, but some people are kind of like still don't believe it, I guess.
The advantage is like knowing what you're capable of doing and knowing how like fucking good these tools are.
I think what's crazy to me is that like, you know, I have a lot of friends who are like not super like in like a, you know, super grindy career path, I guess. Like, you know, you have the pre-meds and you have your lawyers and you have your CS people, tech people, startup people. But and I have some of my friends who are like more chill career paths. Nothing wrong with that. That's kind of the way they're going. But I think it's crazy to me like how like little they've used AI in their life. Because for me, it's integrated in almost every part of my life now. Like, I own all these different fucking things. Obviously for my development of this app, but also just day-to-day life. I use ChatGPT so much, and I was like, I was like telling my friend, oh, you should just ask Chat to do some like XY thing he asked me for, and I was like watching him type into it, and I'm like, he doesn't know what the fuck he's doing. Like, he doesn't know how to use it, and it was kind of crazy to me to think about that. There's still a lot of people that just don't use it, and for me, it's just like so much of my life now.
That's what needs to get taught. Like, when you're in Cursor and you're like, I'm like trying to solve this problem, and knowing like if Chat or Claude or Composer is like the model that you should use, like that kind of knowledge.
Small knowledge.
That's, you know, that's like how you. It's like anyone could code a website with AI, but it's like.
Can you though?
There are levels to this shit.
There's so many. Because like my workflow now, it's like I have like a lot of this works on Xcode because that's for a Swift iOS app, right? And I have the same folder open in Cursor with like Opus 4.6, and then I have ChatGPT and Underline because like I know ChatGPT is good for brainstorming, and then like I usually have ChatGPT write like the starter files for it because Cursor is really good if I'm very specific. So if I already have the files ready for Cursor, I'll just like have it just implement the function stubs I already have written. Because if I do a little bit too much on Cursor vibe coding, it gets kind of messy. I don't really understand it. And I like the Xcode for like testing things and like running it and debugging. So I have all these fucking windows open every time I'm working. It's just like, that's what I think the workflows are becoming, right? Like, I'm gonna use this AI tool for this for that. It's crazy.
I'll be like talking to my engineer, and I'll be like, yo, like it needs to do this thing. Like, I'm like explaining what I want, and he's like, just say it to the computer, bro. And holds down his FN keys, a whisper flow. Have you used whisper flow?
I've not used it, but I've heard about it.
Oh my god,
is it really good?
It's magic. Dude.
Tell me about it.
You just like, it's just an application where like you hold down FN and you just talk. You just like say what you want, and it's like a dictation tool, but it just gets you. So like I could be rambling like and basically it just pastes into whatever box your like thing is. So like I'm like in Cursor and I'm trying to describe what features I want the app to do, and I'll hold it down and I'll explain it. Typing. Yeah. It's so much better than typing. That's how OpenCloud was built,
I think, entirely. Yeah.
I don't doubt it. We have a cloud bot as well for the business. Yeah, it's awesome.
I want to ask you about that because I haven't set it up.
We like kind of barely set it up, but it's fire. With Whisperflow, it knows when you're saying filler words. It knows when you like change your mind, kind of like midstream of thought, and it's the dictated output is always just like
does it cost money?
Exactly what you want. It does. There's a free plan. It costs.
I might play around with it a little bit.
It's like $20 a month.
So it integrates with your laptop or Cursor?
Yeah, it integrates with your. It's a Mac application, so like I could just hold down my key and like anywhere I am on my Mac.
So Whisper has the intelligence layer of like figure out the filler words and like thought progression, but then it rewrites it for Cursor, or how does that work?
You can change like tone and structure of the output depending on the application.
I guess what's different than me just like turning on like voice memos and like not voice memos, like Notes app, hit like listen to me and then copy paste that. Like, how's it different?
The convenience, the experience. Okay. Dude, they have a 14-day trial. Just like
I'll try
set it up.
I'll probably get addicted to it.
I'm addicted to it. I'm like addicted to all these like stupid little like productivity apps. Like, Superhuman Email?
No.
It's like an email client. It costs like $30 a month, but I can just like speed through all my emails so fast because it's like addicting. You just press a key over and over again. It's probably a waste of money.
How many of these subscriptions do you think you have right now? Both company and your personal?
The company spends like for like all employees, we probably spend like $2,500 a month on like software subscriptions, and this is like everything from like maxed out like it's pretty much like mostly AI subscriptions.
Yeah.
The Wi-Fi, that's pretty much.
Where's your office?
It's downtown Ann Arbor.
That's
it's 255 East Liberty Street. If you type in like Milieu into Google Apps, it'll come up. Yeah.
I'll walk by one day.
Yeah, you should. We have a sign.
Yeah.
That's just like something. These like subscriptions, I try to cut them off when we're not using them anymore. But it's so easy to justify it because they just like, the fact that we have them means people are so expensive. Like people are
so much cheaper than AI. AI is so much cheaper.
I want my company to be like as like lean as possible. I do not want random people who like aren't doing anything to be like there because they're kind of dragging down the rest of the team. Like one person underperforming like psychologically affects everyone else, and so I'm really quick on it. Like
out of here.
Yeah. in like a nice way. But I made a ton of hiring mistakes. Like I looked back at like the money that we spent to get to this product, and I'm like, dude, if I was a second time founder, like I would have spent like a third of what I spent. Though, so I know I'm okay with it. I actually.
Do you want to be like a serial entrepreneur or like what? Yeah, that's kind of what I want to do.
Yeah.
Well, I'll make one first. I guess I should try not to get too ahead of myself. But.
Dude, I don't. It's scary, bro. We've picked the hardest fucking business like possible.
I can't do anything else, bro.
It's addicting, bro.
Like I know my dad usually watches these podcasts, but I really don't want to fucking do big tech recruiting or any of that shit. Like I'd rather just keep failing at this and eventually make something work. You know?
It's like people are gonna look back at this time in 10 years and be like, oh, like why didn't I take that opportunity to start a company? Because now it's like. Now, in 10 years, you're going to have, like, 14-year-olds, like, vibe coding the shit that we were vibe coding. It's going to be, like, the internet.
Yeah.
And it's just it's such a good time.
Yeah.
It's such a good time.
I feel like 5-10 years from now, there's going to be the scale. There's going to be so many of these little companies everywhere. It's going to become so popular that, like, just make a startup. And a lot of them will do well. Because there's so many problems, so many places, and the economy keeps growing. With AI, the economy is going to grow so much because of all, like, the productivity increases. So I think there's going to be so many niche little startups everywhere, solving so many problems you would have never thought of for so many people, all run by like 3 to 5 people.
Do you ever get worried about humanity?
No, I feel like that's going to be a really fun time. Because I feel like you'll have so much freedom to the world is kind of yours. Like the amount of power you have as one human at scales. And I guess that is kind of scary, but it's also really exciting. Dude.
I'm scared for what happens to the world in like 20 years.
I'm optimistic. I'm just by that kind of way, but
I'm optimistic in some. We don't have to get into this.
We can.
I just feel like 90% of people in the world are gonna be like super fucked, and
that is true.
And 10% of people are gonna like have the power and the ability to start a $5 billion company and have the resources and have like the social capital and connections, and like the rest of the world is going to rely on like essentially philanthropy. Because like how could someone with nothing aside from through extraordinary genius contribute to a society where like everything is automated? Like the only things that are defensible are creativity, social or physical capital, and drive. And, like, you shouldn't need those 3 things to, like, live a happy and healthy life as a human being on planet Earth. And there are a lot of people on Earth, and most of them aren't doing well. I'm not, like, trying to sit here and, like, be on my high horse about it. Like, I don't, knock on wood, hopefully, like, will not be in that position myself. But, like, aside from, like, plumbing in data centers... What blue collar work is there? Like like we don't need like human beings to like underpin the economy. If AI control it, like if there's an AI layer at every point, like it's like building data centers.
Well, I mean, there's still gonna be like mom and pop shops, restaurants. I think there's still like the appeal of like in person stuff. You don't think there will be? Everything DoorDash?
Everything private equity. Everything chain.
Yeah.
Because, like, like...
You think so? I mean, yeah, they will be kind of driven out of business.
I hope not.
Yeah.
I hope mom and pop shops still exist. I hope, people can, do a work with their hands and their brain in a craft that like brings them joy and like enough money to survive. But when all of these industries get centralized and stripped down and like become so efficient because of AI, and they're owned by these giant corporations who like they're like private equity, like holding companies. They're like the reality of like a singular town is like all these chain restaurants that are going to compete just like the human touch is lost. Like all these enterprises are trying to do is extract as much value as possible out of society, where the wealth gap just continues to increase, and people can't afford shit. I'm not like a theorist. I don't know like a lot about economics or like policy or like I can't even like relate to the experience of someone who like is struggling in this economy. I just like hear stories and like think about macro trends, and it just concerns me slightly.
That's fair. I don't know. I guess we'll see. I think my friend, like, he said something really funny. Like, whenever I do bring up this topic with him, like, he does like to talk about it, but he's always like, I only think 3 to 5 days ahead of time. Like, he's not thinking that far ahead, which is like, I know like these things do sound like plausible. There's also the argument of that, like, there's gonna be this abundance of wealth, so there's just gonna be like universal basic income, but a lot of it, I guess. Which, you know, for me personally, I don't know why I just can't see these things happening. Because logically, it makes so much sense that, like, yeah, if the trends continue, these things will happen. And, like, logically, I can reason that I could see a world like that. But, like, internally, I just don't feel like that outcome will end up happening. And I don't know why. I think that, you know, a lot of what's happened in history has just been so unexplainable and so unpredictable. And I think that the world will kind of surprise us in a way. And I think outcomes will surprise us. Like, obviously, there's fundamental rules of economics and how these things work. But, like, internally somewhere I just have the optimism that, like, it will kind of work out. But I think one point you do bring up is that there's going to be so many of these small startups that are kind of controlling so many industries, and it takes a lot of drive to, like, play this game and love for work that I don't think a lot of people have. And for them, like, the traditional career paths of, like, you know, your 9 to 5, like, it fits a lot of people very well. And I don't think a lot of those jobs might exist as often. Like, there might be a lot of these small kind of, like, you know, people sitting in their fucking room door dashing food and, like, working on this cool shit. Like, I feel there's gonna be a lot of those in the next, like, 5 to 10 years, but it's a very, like, small archetype of people that fit that. Even though there's gonna be a lot of them, it's like a lot of people just don't fit that category, you know. So I don't know. I guess we'll see where the world takes us.
Yeah, I mean, I think white collar is more in danger than blue collar because you can't automate a DoorDash driver yet.
Yeah.
Like, even if you can stick a fucking order in a Waymo and it'll drive you, but the Waymo can't even open and close its own door. Yeah. So there are things.
That can't be the hardest thing.
Like, dude, consulting is going to be the first thing to go.
Yeah.
Like, I'll just hit a ChatGPT deep research prompt, you know?
Did you? Or?
I'm just saying, like, this, like.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. I misheard you.
No.
You will hit it. I thought you said your deep research whether consulting will go.
No.
I'm retarded.
I'm just saying rather than hiring a consultant,
yeah.
I would just...
I just understood what you meant. No, yeah. Like, I don't need a consultant for anything.
Yeah, dude, the world is it's gonna change in a lot of ways. I agree with your underlying optimism. I think that, like, the world, I think about the world in terms of, like humanity was not, I want humanity to prevail, but, like, it won't, you know, like if you just, like, look at, like, the course of evolution, it was just, like, a bunch of molecules knocking around in primordial soup that, like, by chance happened to hit each other the right way over and over and over and over again in a series of increasingly improbable events that, like, led to, like, life. And it's for that reason I believe in a God. I don't think that this shit happened spontaneously. And I also think that, like, we were just humanity was never, like, meant to, like, exist forever.
You don't think so?
Mm-mm.
Is that more like a philosophical thing, or?
I could, like, try and, like, justify it by, like, talking about the laws of physics, but to be honest, dude, it's it comes down to my belief that, like, there's no way, like, I just don't think we will. Like, I think we're gonna wreck the earth before we, like, at a certain point, like, it's kind of just, like, a matter of time. Also, like, the human, like, form is deteriorating, like, in terms of
the de-evolving.
Like, yeah, we're fucking de-evolving because, like, if you think about, like, think about it in terms of, like, evolutionary fitness. Like, an organism over multiple generations or many generations its fitness improves. Like, its ability to, like, live a long time and reproduce improves, and then that's why it gets selected for and the population increases, and you go from being like a couple of RNA molecules to like a single-celled organism to like a monkey to a human. Like, and that it's a series of improbable events that led to like the biological fitness of an organism being at a peak that it hadn't been before. And I don't think humans are evolving anymore. I think we're adapting to like fit the circumstances of the environment that we built for ourselves. But like the rates of humans are less healthy. Like we're not seeing many improvements in like total like lifespan over the past like 20 years in the United States of America. Like chronic diseases are higher than they've ever been. I don't think that we're still on that evolutionary trajectory. I think the only way to like make humans live longer and healthier are now through like interventional measures, synthesizing molecules and products to like enhance our bodies. There's a limit to that. There's ultimately a limit to it. And you know, even if we do exist in you know, a million years, we're not going to look the way that we do now.
It's going to be a completely different species.
We're going to be like cyborgs, man.
We definitely are. We already kind of are. It's just going to get worse.
That's why I think, like, when I say, like, humanity, like, as much as I want it to exist, I don't have, like, I have optimism for myself and for my kids and their kids. And, like, I think we're going to have a pretty, like, long run, but, like, you know.
Yeah, it's fun things to think about, you know, because you can just speculate forever, but I'm so curious. I mean, we'll see a lot of change because things are changing faster than they ever have. And what we see in our 100 years of life is change that no human in history has ever seen. So
you just got to, like, sit back and watch it happen.
That's all you can do. Yeah, man.
Cool.
It's a great podcast.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming down. Learned a lot. And, yeah, if you're still here in Ann Arbor next semester before, I don't know if you're going to LA or what the plan is, but we should run this back. I want to see all the things. I'm going to pronounce it wrong again.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Milieu.
Milieu.
Mm-hmm.
Like million, like milieu.
Is that where you got the name from?
No. It means a person's social environment.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I'm like in milieu.
Mm-hmm.
I always said the word milieu, actually, when I thought of that word.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah, man, I want to see Milieu do amazing things.
I know, and hopefully your startup will be like balling as well. So it'll be a good time.
When you guys blow up, I want to be like, he was on my podcast back in the day.
Hopefully.
Yeah, if you're not to run it back, I could do it next semester. But yeah, thanks for coming down, and good luck with everything, all right?
Cool. Appreciate it.